Have you ever wondered, what could make ancient people devote their entire lives preparing for death? Why did the Egyptians, one of humanity's greatest civilizations, spend immense resources, knowledge, and artistry building tombs, pyramids, and elaborate rituals to guide the soul into the afterlife? Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. X9, founder of the knowledge ecosystem, The Way Home, a journey of 36 YouTube channels, each one a doorway into a new world of learning, discovery, and inspiration. In today's video, we'll explore a journey that is both mysterious and deeply philosophical. Ancient Egyptian Civilization, Journey to the Afterlife. This is not just a story about mummies or pyramids. It's a mirror reflecting how the ancients thought about life, death, and the immortality of the soul. To uncover the mysteries of ancient Egypt, let's follow a series of guiding questions. By finding their answers, we'll understand why this civilization held such a powerful belief in life after death. What did the ancient Egyptians believe happened after death? They believed the soul did not disappear, but continued on a long journey toward the afterlife. That new life could be eternal, yet only if the deceased was properly prepared through rituals and capable of overcoming spiritual trials. Death was not an end, but a doorway to another existence. This conviction shaped every part of their culture, from architecture to daily habits. It was the promise of eternity that gave meaning to their earthly lives. Why were mummies and preserving the body so important? According to Egyptian belief, the key, spirit, needed a home to inhabit. If the body decayed, the spirit would lose its anchor and cease to exist. That is why the technique of mummification was invented, turning the physical body into a bridge between two worlds. By preserving the body, the Egyptians believed they could preserve the soul's stability. Mummification wasn't only a technical process. It was a sacred act of devotion to ensure the deceased could live on eternally. What role did pyramids and tombs play in this journey? Pyramids and tombs were far more than burial sites. They were cosmic gateways guiding the soul toward the afterlife. Their monumental architecture, decorated with hieroglyphs and ritual paintings, acted as a spiritual map. Each chamber, passage, and symbol had a ritual meaning meant to protect and instruct the deceased. To the Egyptians, a tomb was essentially a vessel of transformation, where the soul could transcend earthly existence and step into eternity. What was the Book of the Dead? The Book of the Dead was a collection of spells, prayers, and ritual instructions buried alongside the deceased. It functioned as a traveler's guidebook, teaching the soul how to pass through gates, confront deities, and prove its worthiness for eternal life. This book reflected the Egyptians' attempt to systematize the unknown, turning fear of death into a navigable journey. Its influence has echoed for millennia as one of humanity's earliest spiritual manuals. How was the mummification process carried out, and what did it mean? Mummification was a complex ritual lasting over 70 days. Priests removed internal organs, dried the body with natron salt, then wrapped it in hundreds of layers of linen. This was more than science, it was a sacred ceremony. Every stage symbolized respect for the dead and faith that an intact body ensured the soul's safe passage. The ritual transformed death into a sacred transition, reinforcing their trust in the eternal. Who performed funeral rituals? Priests held central responsibility. They chanted prayers and carried out the opening of the mouth ceremony, restoring the senses so the deceased could eat, breathe, speak, and see in the afterlife. These acts reveal how religion permeated every stage of the funeral. To Egyptians, priests were not just religious leaders, they were spiritual guides bridging the human and the divine. Why were gold and treasures buried with the pharaohs? The Egyptians believed that in the afterlife, the dead would need wealth and resources to protect their status. Gold, seen as the metal of the sun god Ra, symbolized immortality. That is why Pharaoh's tombs, such as Tutankhamun's, overflowed with treasures. not just as displays of power, but as spiritual provisions. These treasures served as divine currency, ensuring the pharaoh's eternal reign in the cosmic order. How did Egyptians imagine the soul's journey? They envisioned the soul crossing a subterranean river, passing through dangerous gates, and facing gods and monsters. The final destination was the Hall of Judgment, where the heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. Only those whose hearts were pure could enter eternal life. This imagery reflects a profound connection between spirituality, morality, and cosmic justice. What was the meaning of the weighing of the heart ritual? It was the ultimate moment of truth. If the heart was heavy with sin, it would be devoured by Ammit, the monster of destruction, and the soul would vanish forever. If it was light, the soul gained eternal life. This ritual highlights how the Egyptians linked morality with immortality. It shows that to them, the afterlife wasn't just about ritual. It was about living a righteous life worthy of eternity. Which gods played key roles in this journey? Osiris, lord of the underworld, represented death and rebirth. Isis, the protective goddess, embodied love and magic. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, guided souls and oversaw mummification. Together with other deities, they formed a cosmic order where each god symbolized part of the life-death cycle. Their presence reassured the living that death was not chaos, but a passage guarded by divine law. Why did Egyptians build colossal structures like the pyramids of Giza? The pyramids were not merely royal tombs. They were eternal machines, symbols of pharaonic power and the promise of immortality. Their upward structure pointed to the heavens, symbolizing the soul's ascent toward the gods. At the same time, their precise engineering reflected unparalleled organizational ability. To this day, these pyramids remain monuments to both human ingenuity and spiritual aspiration. Did ordinary people also hope for an afterlife? Not only pharaohs, but even common people believed they could journey to the afterlife. The difference lay in preparation. Nobles and elites had elaborate tombs filled with treasures, while ordinary people were buried in modest graves, sometimes accompanied by small amulets or short prayers. Despite these differences, all Egyptians shared the conviction that the soul would continue to exist. This shows that the hope for eternity was not a privilege of the rulers alone, but a collective belief that united the entire society in a shared vision of life beyond death. Jawab. How did literature and art reflect beliefs in the afterlife? Inside tombs, wall paintings often depicted the deceased feasting with family, farming, hunting, or receiving blessings from gods. These were not decorations. They were prayers in visual form, ensuring the soul could continue life's joys beyond death. Statues, reliefs, and hieroglyphs mixed everyday scenes with sacred encounters, merging the human and divine. Egyptian art became both a memory of earthly life and a passport for eternal protection. Why does ancient Egypt still fascinate the modern world? Because it posed questions that remain timeless. Where do we go after death? Does immortality exist? How do we live a worthy life? Its monuments, pyramids, tombs, treasures defy centuries and still inspire awe. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb ignited global fascination, while mummies challenge modern science with their preservation. Egyptian myths and artifacts continue to fuel our imagination, reminding us that humanity's deepest mysteries remain unsolved. Did Egyptians see death as an ending or a beginning? For them, death was not a final stop, but the beginning of a new journey. Pharaohs prepared their entire lives for this departure, building monumental tombs as vessels of eternity. Ordinary people, too, in their own way, prepared for the afterlife. Death, therefore, was not fear. It was transition. This belief gave life a profound meaning. Live righteously, for the afterlife depends on how you live today. What does the journey to the afterlife teach us about living today? It reminds us that earthly life is just one part of a greater cycle. To be at peace in death, one must live ethically and leave behind good deeds. Egyptians tied morality directly to immortality, making eternity a reward for virtue. This message is still relevant today. True peace comes not from wealth, but from kindness, justice, and integrity. Death becomes less frightening when we live fully and truthfully. From a modern perspective, what can we learn from this belief? Even if science has not proven the afterlife, Egyptian faith teaches us to value meaning beyond material possessions. In today's fast-paced world, their philosophy reminds us to prioritize love, fairness, and compassion. They show us that our true legacy lies not in riches, but in the values we pass on. The pursuit of eternity can inspire us to live more responsibly, leaving a spiritual inheritance that outlasts time. From a Buddhist perspective, how can we view the afterlife? Buddhism teaches impermanence, that nothing lasts forever. Seen through this lens, the afterlife can be understood as a metaphor for karma. Our actions shape the outcomes we experience, both now and beyond. Instead of clinging to physical immortality, Buddhism encourages letting go, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating compassion. The afterlife then becomes a reflection of how we live each moment. When we live with wisdom and love, peace arises naturally, even in the face of impermanence. For me, the most striking aspect of ancient Egypt is not the massive pyramids or golden treasures. It is their unwavering belief in the continuation of the soul. They remind me that every moment we live today is a preparation for tomorrow. Looking at mummies preserved for thousands of years, I ask myself, what are we doing to preserve our own souls in the modern world? Perhaps the answer lies not in wealth, but in kindness, compassion, and wisdom. I am deeply moved by their connection between morality and eternity, a timeless truth. It convinces me that true immortality comes from the values we leave behind. Above all, their story teaches me gratitude and mindfulness in the flow of impermanence. What about you? Do you think people today still believe in an afterlife as strongly as the Egyptians did? If you could choose, what would you want to leave for future generations? Wealth, knowledge, or spiritual values? Do you believe the way we live today shapes our spiritual journey tomorrow? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice will make this conversation richer and more meaningful. Our exploration shows that ancient Egypt left us more than pyramids, hieroglyphs, and treasures. They left a spiritual legacy, humanity's desire to transcend death and seek immortality. That message still echoes today, reminding us to live with kindness and purpose. If you found this video meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to the World of Cultures, part of the Way Home ecosystem, so you won't miss future journeys. Thank you for walking alongside me into the mysteries of ancient Egypt. And before we part, I'd like to leave you with this message from the heart. Life is a journey. What matters is not the final destination, but how we walk each day, with gratitude, mindfulness, and love.